Hello students of class 12, welcome to the online tutorial classes for Vidya Bhavan High Secondary School. This video is for the nutrition of class 12. The chapter that I will continue today is the malnutrition and this video is part 7. So in the previous video I have already started the effects of defective feeding and there are some physical problems. By this if there is any defect in this feeding that can be lead to this kind of the problems. I have already discussed about vomiting, colic, wean, constipation and diarrhea. So in this video I will start with the food allergy and the intolerance. This is a very alarming thing, I must say. Food intolerance is a reproducible and unpleasant reaction not physiologically based to a specific food or ingredient. Okay, it is a mainly response of the digestive system. For example, lactose intolerance, where lactose cannot be tolerated or can be digested in their gastrointestinal tract, and it can lead to the diarrhea. Okay. So lactose intolerance, gluten intolerance are very common. So when we are giving the foods from anywhere and we start the weaning, so we have to keep in mind that if our child have any intolerance or if our patient have any food allergy or intolerance from any food, so we have to keep in mind and then only we can give the proper food to them. Because if we give the if we cannot give the proper food or the wrong food, that can also lead to the death too. Okay, so food allergy or food hypersensitivity is something different from the intolerance. That is, like, it is usually the abnormal immunological response to a particular food or nutrient, resulting in several different types of the response. So if the person, we have also have some allergy from someone have from this brinjal, someone from the prawn, someone from this some kind of the fish or sea fish, you can see, and also somewhere some people have the allergies from the commonly egg too. Okay, so these things cannot be if they took this type of food, some of the responses can be seen like the breathing problem, itching, reddening and the rashes or can be seen. These same things can be happen for the children also. So we have to keep in mind, we have to if we want to do, then we can also taste the allergy taste and after that we can give the proper food to them. Okay, so the management is very easy. We have to take care of our child and we have to think before giving the food, and we have to check if the food is good for the children or if they can tolerate or if they don't have any allergy. So firstly, when we introduce that kind of food, we should give in a small portion. Okay, so if they can tolerate, then we can easily increase that portion. Okay, it is all about the food allergy and intolerance. Next is overfeeding and underfeeding. So appetite and satiety mechanisms enable most babies to control the amount of energy ingested. But if the baby is overfed forcefully or even undered, then there will be a number of complications can be seen. Overfeeding can also lead to vomiting, diarrhea, etc. Underfeeding can lead to the malnutrition or the growth failure. So these are the common problems. So the mothers have the common problem, like they always think their child have to take all of the amount they took for their children. Like if the mother took one bowl of the Cerelac, she wants that her child will complete the one bowl at once. But they do not think that their child stomach portion or stomach size, according to the stomach size they have to give, and according to the increase of their increase of their age, they can increase the amount too. So they have to keep in mind this kind of the ratio, then this type of the problems cannot be seen. Okay, the final two, the GOR, that means gastroesophageal reflux, and finally FTT, failure to thrive. These two are the star points, you can see. These are the very important points and usually come to your examination. This is very important, very, very important. So it is a pathological complication resulting in the upward movement of the food from the stomach to the esophagus, that is in the opposite direction, like from the stomach the food coming out. That means the esophageal reflux, from the esophagus the food comes out by our mouth or nose. Okay, so due to the immaturity of the cardiac sphincter, it can also be seen, because it can be mainly seen to this prenatal babies are and premature babies, their sphincters are not forming properly. That is why sometimes the food can goes out from their mouth also. It is a very dangerous problem, and the GOR can lead to also very many points like inadequate weight gain, food refusal or pain in feeding, blood in the vomitus, recurrent cough and wheezing and choking, like episodes of apnea, failure to thrive, esophagitis, excessive crying, hard won and wean. So these are the problems that can lead it by the GOR. So if we manage these GOR problems, we have to give the small amount of food in after short interval, and bumping after the feeding is very important. Bumping is the thing, like you can see there is a small babies after eating their food, they just take their hand on their back and they just rub it, and after that the baby bumps. Okay, this is called the bumping. Like forceful bumping is very much important after the feeding, after every feeding. Using food in correct consistency is very important. These are all. Finally, the FTT or failure to thrive, it is the last point of this physical problem. So, FTT is common resulting from the combination of dietary, organic and the social factors which lead to undernutrition. The final common denominator. So undernutrition is the final denominator. Okay, if anything, any of the problems can lead to the undernutrition or overnutrition or more specifically malnutrition, it is the always alarming thing. So there are usually no medical causes, but actually the conditions can be there: failure to gain weight. So the target of the child, or the process by which we can easily understand if the child is getting the proper nutrition or not, the main thing is gaining the weight. So if the child is not gaining the weight, if the weight is not increasing, then we can easily think that or we can easily finalize that the nutrition is not proper. They are not taking the foods properly, or the like metabolism is not going properly. Okay, so the causes of FTT, mainly the negligence by the parents or the caregivers, unintentional inadequate energy intake, suitable oromotor problems making food intake difficult or compromising the energy intake, children with default behavior or the food refusal. Some children are there, they don't want to eat, so they have to forcefully give the food. We have to give the food forcefully, but it is also not be taken properly. Okay, so we have to give the child care and love. By this we can only feed the child. It will be better for her or his also. Okay, disturbed parent-child interaction, chronic illness and disability adversely affecting the nutritional status of the minority. Okay, so how can we manage this problem? Like better interaction with the child and the parent is very important, because the relationship between mother and with the child, or you can say the parents or the caregivers with the child, is very important for their growth. Okay, not directly but indirectly, but it is a key point. So if the relationship is good, then the child can grow properly, not only physically but mentally too. Okay, the specialized support may be used. Correct feeding volume and amount is very important. Patience during feeding is very necessary. We don't have to be in very hurry in the time of feeding the child. Correct posture during the feeding is very important. So it is all for this chapter. I'm completing with this chapter and with this physical problems. I think you understood the full chapter. I will make some new video in some new chapters. Till then, thank you.